Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. I'm Marco D'Angelo, joined in studio with Bryan Leonard and Ralph Michaels. We're going to take a look at the NFL Week 1, NFL opening lines. Guys, we haven't even had the NFL draft. We're a day before the NFL draft, and they've already got Week 1 lines up. And in another video we're going to kind of talk about one of the sports books in town. Actually is going to be putting out tomorrow all 16 weeks of the NFL season, actually 17 weeks, all the games and with the lines. But guys, all of the books around town have put up the numbers. We've gotten a chance to look at them. Have you guys seen anything in Week 1 that strikes your fancy? I'll start with you, Ralph. You see anything you like?
Well, I like Brian's shirt, so I'm going to use the Browns. And
I'm just glad I didn't choose you like my underwear.
It would have been the same color.
That's what I'm saying. You ruined my joke.
All right, guys, let's talk.
All right.
Now, the Browns, you know, the Browns are the one team that you don't bet on as a homer, but this line is just way too high. I mean, yes, Pittsburgh has dominated Cleveland. They've won 24 of the last 27 games. The Browns cost Vegas
tons of
millions of dollars last year. Everyone bet
They're
against them. The Cleveland was 4-12. Pittsburgh cost Vegas a lot of money down the stretch. They covered 7 of their last 10 games into the playoffs, and we looked at some of those lines. And ironically, the Browns going 4-12 and Pittsburgh going 7-3. Cleveland actually covered the one game against Pittsburgh because they were resting everyone. They were getting 3.5. But, you know, I like Cleveland plus the 9.5. This is a crazy Week 1 line. Teams are just getting situated. Your offenses aren't playing up to par. And you look at since 2001, that's 16 seasons. There's only been 5 times where a team's been a Week 1 home dog of 7.5 or more, and they're 5-0 against the spread. Again, just way too high. You always talk about how the offenses need a few weeks to get going. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Cleveland's going to be improved with this draft, with all the picks, players they have. Roethlisberger seems to need a few weeks every year to get going. You know, and again, I just think this is a crazy, almost a double-digit line, and I'll jump on the Browns with that spread.
All right. Can't call you a homer because all of that makes sense, and even me being a Pittsburgh guy, I got to agree with you. Brian, we'll go to you, and you've got a bushel full for us here.
Well, I've got a system I've used over the years, and it's got 4 games. Now, I'm probably not going to use all 4 games, but there's a couple I'd like to point out here. But it's basically road teams that win 6 or less games. You play them in Week 1. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, most bettors like to play the home team. And teams from the year before that they think were bad, they want to bet against. And we've got 4 situations this year. We've got the Jets plus 6 against the Bills, Jaguars plus 4.5 against the Titans, Chargers plus 4.5 against Denver, and the Panthers minus 4 against the 49ers. The Panthers, obviously the only road favorite in the group, probably won't play that one. The Panthers have had a rough year last year, but they're a very talented team. But I'd like to play the road dogs in this situation. And if you look at them, the Jets and Bills, divisional game. Jaguars, Texans, divisional game. Chargers, Denver, divisional game. We always like to play divisional dogs, especially divisional road dogs. And if you go down and you break these 3 down, Houston is the only team that swept the series last year against the Jaguars. They were both really close games, at 1-point games, I believe. And so Houston's going to come into this game coming off their offseason. They got rid of their albatross, traded them to Cleveland, and they're coming in with high expectations this year, and now they're playing a team that they've just dominated over the years. Houston's going to come in here overrated. Jacksonville is a team that everybody liked last year. When you take a look at the games before the season started, they were one of the teams everybody was jumping on. I think this is a good spot for Jacksonville here, and you're getting 4.5, so you're getting over the key numbers of 3 and 4. I'll take the Jags here.
And as we talk about teams that let the public down the previous year, you want to take them because there is going to be value. And as you said, Jacksonville was one of those sexy picks last year people thought was going to be improved. And they were, for the most part, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot, you know, in games that they were right there to cover or win and then lose them in the fourth quarter. So I can agree with your theory there. I'm going to go Week 1. I'm going to look at Denver versus the Chargers. Now, this is a division game, obviously. You've got the Chargers, and Over under for how many times we call them the San Diego Chargers this year, but it is the LA Chargers.
I'm just going to call every team the LA whatever because they've already got two. Who knows in the future?
Basically, for sure. You've got this line opened up at 3.5, and most people thought the way I did that this number came out low. It went to 4 immediately. There are still 4s around town, but we are seeing some 4.5s. I think really by week 1, this line could be 5 or 6, and here's why. I'm looking at it. Last year, Denver's defense took a step backwards. We know how good the defense has been for Denver, but the numbers weren't as solid as they were the previous year. And part of that was their defense just was on the field for more minutes than they were the previous year because the offense wasn't as consistent, running with Trevor Siemian, who, that was his first year as a starter, and then he got hurt, and they had Paxton Lynch, a true rookie, come in and play a couple games as well. Regardless of what you had last year, that offense is going to be better this year just because of the experience. And if Trevor Siemian has a good preseason, then the hype is going to go up a little bit more on Denver, and that's where you could see this line go to 5 or 6. Now, they are going into training camp where it's kind of supposed to be an open competition. Simeon's supposed to be his job to lose, but if Paxton Lynch looks good in preseason, because he was a #1 pick for the Broncos, they could end up, starting him, but he did get some experience last year. So I like Denver being the home opener. I got to go with them. It's going to be a crazy year for the Chargers. There's one already. How they're going to adjust to the move to LA, because this is a team that really didn't want to move. They like their fans in San Diego, so we're going to see how that's going to happen. It'll be more curious as far as the home games go, what the reaction is playing in a smaller stadium.
I completely agree. Uprooting your families is a big deal. So for you to move your entire franchise, granted, it's not the move St. Louis had to make to LA, but you're still buying new houses, you're going to new schools. There's a lot of things you're worried about as a parent, as a player, besides football, let alone then you're going to play, you're going to be playing at a new stadium, and you're looking forward to your home opener, the following week. So completely agree.
All right, guys, good stuff. Hey, and don't forget, you can get every Tuesday at Wager Talk. It's $2 Tuesday. We pick one capper and offer his best bet for just $2. It's a great way to try a new capper, or if you're brand new to Wager Talk, it's a great way to introduce yourself to the site. Check it out each and every Tuesday. It's $2 Tuesday at wagertalk.com. We'll be back with more here at Wager Talk.